You've been chasing murderers in a minivan.
Yeah, he blew up my other car.
Yeah,
That's not what happened.
surprised me at all.
Literally what happened.
Welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben and this is my review for The Wrecking Crew. Estranged half-brothers Johnny and James reunite after their father's mysterious death. As they search for the truth, buried secrets reveal a conspiracy threatening to tear their family apart. From the same director who brought us Blue Beetle, which I thought had a lot of heart in it in amongst that action, I was excited to see what Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista could bring to it. Dave Bautista being the Navy SEAL, estranged half-brother, is across the pond, as it were, where they're living from, not in Hawaii anymore, but Jason Momoa is the detective with a really rocky kind of Mel Gibson background, drinking, has a girlfriend in Monica Baccarin, and that relationship is strained as well. This father that passes away, as is established right from the beginning of the movie, is what brings the family together. And I'm surprised to say that this is probably the most Lethal Weapon movie since Lethal Weapon. There's been a clear, I would say, a ground of movies that haven't quite hit the mark of that Lethal Weapon comedy drama, having a lot of heart, but building that kind of buddy cop. Here, these brothers are forced together, but it's the dialogue that sticks with you. It's funny, it's relevant, it's poignant, it has clear references to stuff that you'll be like, hey, I know that reference. You'll be thinking, hey, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's even a flow of a similar plot and thread line, without going into spoilers, for the Lethal Weapon movie. So it does play, I don't know that it's stealing from it, plays lots of homage towards it, but that buddy cop kind of cop drama movie has been done to death, and there are a dime a dozen, but there's very few that actually stick the landing, that actually make it work with the action, with the drama, because of the heart of the characters. This film does spend some time getting to know your characters in amongst the action. And where Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista work well, where this film works the best, is when they're on screen together, when they're having quick quips at each other, when the dialogue works for their characters, their physiques, when the action works for their physiques. The action doesn't step away from the title either, The Wrecking Crew. It's R-rated for a reason. There's some heavy, brutal action sequences that's going to make you go, ooh, what did I just see? And then yet you want some more. There's an initial fight sequence in the beginning of the movie, which I really appreciated. Jason Momoa showing what he can do, but with his physique up against Yakuza, that I thought was a lot of fun to watch and believable for how they were putting it together. There's some great hallway fight scenes, the classic kind of panning shot as there's a horde of guys trying to attack Dave Bautista, video game style, 2D left to right, beautifully lit, beautifully shot. For the most part, this whole film is beautifully shot. Sometimes have that over crisp TV feeling that these movies can have, but because of the way it's stylistically shot, the choices that they're going for, you feel that it's not overly cut. You get to see the action even though they are fast cuts. There's an initial really creative shot for the opening of the movie where they drive this big kind of one shot going from crane all the way down, or maybe it's drone all the way down into handhold following through the streets, that I thought was really brave to do as their opening shot and work to establish kind of the world that we're in. It's a vibrant, fantastically hyper-realized world where characters are larger than life. Yakuza, big car chase sequences with hand-to-hand combat within a minivan. The kind of thing that we've seen from Deadpool. Kind of, I wonder if Monica Baccarin is part of the magic that she has. Because she, for what we get of her, she is that kind of glue for the relationship. You want them to work their relationship issues out together. But also Dave Bautista and his family unit, the mix in with the culture that is so evident here in Hawaii, I thought was a really nice kind of way to bring grounding, to make that kind of Lethal Weapon family, the Riggs and Murtaugh family unit again. It is if they've taken the copy and pasted it for now and gone, okay, this can still work. And because the dialogue is fun, because it's quirky, because you believe them as brothers, you are invested in the characters. Where this film is let down a little bit is generic bad guy, the movie. Again, there is like, I'm evil because I'm evil, I have money, I'm going to do bad things, so I'm going to be the evil MacGuffin bad guy. You know exactly who is pulling the strings or part of pulling the strings. It's not going to be like, oh, any big great reveal when you're like, hey, the movie goes, this is the bad guy. You can like, yeah, and is there something else? That's the weakest part of the movie, but you don't mind that because along the way, you're getting great, brutal fight sequences with great dialogue, with great characters, filmed well, with characters that you want to see again. I would be definitely in the zone for watching more of these movies if they get to do more of them. It feels like Amazon, well, Prime Video has mixed that sweet pot juice in the cauldron of movies where there is films that are action driven with characters that are larger than life. This is the third time we've gotten one in the recent few months that seem to have hit that sweet spot where they're not going for Oscar bait, but they're going for films that people love to watch. And I think sometimes Hollywood can be a little bit up its own arse and go for art and, forget that most of the time we go to movies for escapism. And this movie is not going to take anything away from that escapism. It's a little bit too long. It gets a little bit too heavy in the middle. There's some stuff that feels like a little bit of padding. And I would have liked to see maybe one more hand-to-hand combat, only because it was that good and watching, I was really enjoying it. But this is, again, another strike in the right direction. Quick movies that I think people are going to love to go back towards. It's like, what's a good action movie that I can put on again? I don't have to think too hard. The characters are really enjoyable. Score, people, acting, just kind of tick, tick, tick. Yes, we know what this movie is. This movie knows what it is, and it does it well. So I'm going to give this 4 Nicolas Cages out of 5. Very enjoyable. I found myself laughing a lot more than I was expecting to, and I think that's because you like the characters, you like the situations they find themselves in, and how they react to some really brutal action moments with the comedy that's not like Guardians of the Galaxy over-the-top comedy, slapstick taken away from the heart of the story that this film tends to veer into, sometimes getting a little bit serious. But because the dialogue feels like it's sort of authentic to these larger than life characters, that is where this movie works really well. So I can't wait for everybody to check this out. What is the best Lethal Weapon-esque movie since Lethal Weapon that you can think of? I'd love to hear your list in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.
I guess we're not going to be leaving now, right?
I'm sorry, Newt.
You don't have to be sorry. It wasn't your fault.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.